Romero, Ranking Member Westerman, Chair DeFazio, and distinguished members of the subcommittee, thank you for inviting me here today. On behalf of my organization and our hundreds of partners, thank you for convening this important hearing to talk about protecting and restoring America's iconic waters, including my home, Puget Sound. Puget Sound is a beautiful place, and it's also a complex one, with 16 major rivers, 20 federally recognized tribes, 4.5 million people, and the headquarters of 11 Fortune 500 companies. Our economy is roaring, and the natural beauty of Puget Sound and the recreational opportunities it offers help our businesses attract top talent. I would welcome the opportunity to host you or your staff for an up-close look at this breathtaking and energizing place. Unfortunately, Puget Sound is also slowly dying. Southern resident orcas, Chinook salmon, and steelhead are all listed under the Endangered Species Act. We continue to pollute our waterways and our shellfish beds, and habitat degradation outpaces restoration. The people of Washington State realized something was wrong in the early 2000s. A groundswell of public support led then Governor Gregoire to establish a task force which recommended the creation of the Puget Sound Partnership as a state agency in 2007. Congress at that time also included Puget Sound in the National Estuary Program. This highly effective program, which we will hear more about in a few moments from my counterpart, Tom Ford, charges us with developing and implementing a collaborative, non-regulatory blueprint for restoring and protecting this iconic water body. In Puget Sound, we call this blueprint the Action Agenda. Nothing tells the story of Puget Sound more profoundly than last summer's tragic loss of the newborn calf of Tlaquah, or J35, a southern resident orca. She grieved over the body of her dead calf for 17 days, and her pod accompanied her as she swam 1,000 miles through Canadian and U.S. waters of the Salish Sea with her calf's body. The world watched Tlaquah suffer, and now the world watches us. This year, Washington state legislators passed significant policy and budget bills aimed at orca recovery. Because of their bold actions, we have hope that we will stave off extinction for the southern resident orcas. But state resources alone are not enough. Federal funding and cooperation is crucial. Here's why. Scientists say that we can still recover Puget Sound, but only if we act boldly now. We know what we need to do. The primary barriers between us and more food for orcas, clean and sufficient water for people and fish, sustainable working lands, and harvestable shellfish are funding and political fortitude. Our data show that the funding received to recover Puget Sound and its salmon falls woefully short of the need. The funding gap for the 2016-2018 Action Agenda was 73%, and the funding gap for salmon recovery is 84%. Our monitoring shows that at these funding levels, we're barely holding our ground, if not managing decline of the ecosystem. We cannot wait any longer to fully fund habitat restoration and salmon recovery in Puget Sound. The single greatest step we could take to ensure a durable, systematic, and science-based effort for Puget Sound recovery is to fully fund the implementation of these programs. H.R. 2247, the Promoting United Government Efforts to Save Our Sound, or Puget SOS, Act, introduced by Congressman Heck and Kilmer this year, would authorize up to $50 million in funding for Puget Sound recovery, a significant and very welcome jump from the $28 million we've been appropriated over the last several years. It also would align federal agency brainpower and resources. These are tremendous assets. Ensuring they're coordinated, setting goals, and holding each other accountable will help increase their effectiveness and provide yet another boost to Puget Sound recovery. Establishing the Puget Sound Program Office at EPA and requiring a federal task force promises that these goals will be met. Passing the Puget SOS bill would demonstrate to the nation that Puget Sound is vital to the economic, cultural, and environmental security of the United States. By investing significantly in the health and well-being of Puget Sound, federal decision makers demonstrate that Puget Sound is worth saving and is of critical importance to the national well-being. Washington State, our tribes, local governments, nonprofits, and the private sector are committed to success. We greatly appreciate the commitment of this subcommittee to ensuring that the federal government is a viable, willing partner in this race against time. Thank you again for the opportunity to appear before you today, and I look forward to your questions.
Thank you, Ms.